Hey there, everybody. It's Snowman here with another episode of BLT Recap and Analysis, and this time we're going to be covering the quarterfinals and semifinals of BLT. So, of course, the recap of the quarterfinals, and then the, um, predictions for the semifinals. And there's no tiebreakers this time around. All the series are finished cleanly, and that also means that our team was eliminated. It was a little bit of unfortunate circumstance. I think the Ubers game was hacksy. It was on both sides technically, but we don't know 100% how the game would have gone without the hacks. So it was a little bit unfortunate. And then the doubles game was really unlucky for us, as it was basically the only chance to win was on this one turn to crit, and he got the crit, and that was unfortunate. But I'll talk about those matches a little bit later. Undoubtedly, we also got a bit lucky in some of the matches as well, so can't complain about everything. Um, so we'll start off with the Blastoise versus Alakazams. Dandaman beat Xskelly. Dandaman brought HO, I believe it was actually my HO again. It's been a while because all these matches are played quite a while ago because of the longer deadline. But Dandaman won again, and that means he finished 4-0 for this BLT. I don't really see it as like a really solid 4-0 because once again he didn't play against the top level competition, and there were other issues. And I think even then, I don't think he played fantastic in all of the games. So Dandaman did pick up his win though, but 4-0 is still pretty impressive regardless of what I think about his competition or whatever. Attribute picked up his win versus Trigodius Re. I think this was very solid and what he was expected to do, and he won, and it was solid. There wasn't that much to say about it, but Attribute did pick up his win here. Oras Mega beat Sam.Tan, and this was the deciding game. Um, I don't think Sam.Tan played particularly well, made quite a few mistakes, and Oras Mega has been playing solid all tour, including this game, and he just capitalized on it. So nice win for the Blastoises there. Keeping Icy beat King of Crimea. This one was like one of I feel like King of Crimea has severely underperformed in this BLT, and I don't think he played particularly well in this matchup either. And Keeping It Icy just won, like, played decent. I don't even think that Keeping It Icy has been playing well at all this tournament either. Principal Tacos continues his streak and wins against the Amuse. I think this was the expected result. Not much to say here. I don't think that there was like anything outstanding in this match. The big upset was Reggie versus Ziri. I think Reggie, um, he showed a lot in PU. He basically also made a post saying that it's not true that if you win an ORAS or if you're an ORAS main, then you're going to be ORAS Ubers main, you're going to be good in SM. Well, I think this is like it doesn't definitely like mean something. I think if you're a top level ORS Ubers player, it means that you should also be able to transition some of that into SM, because it does like have a lot of similarities. There are definitely differences for sure, but I do think that the ideas mostly translate over. That said, Reggie does pick up a huge win against Ziri. I don't have the replay, so I couldn't review it and really see it. But it is definitely a huge win, and this is like the reason why this match went to the Blastoises like cleanly rather than going to a tie or something. Jack in My Box solidly beat Pokeheart, and then SMB solidly beat Havens, meaning that SMB finished 4-0 or 5-0 actually, including tiebreakers, which is very impressive and really good for him. And basically, he solidified his place as basically there's a reason why you would spend that much money on him, because 5-0 is very good. But that means that the Blastoises move on and they play, I believe, the Heatrans. I want to say the Heatrans. Actually, no. They should play the Swampards, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, they play the Swampards because they play the opposite group. And then the Stuffles will move on to play the Heatrans. But in our match, 100% GXC versus Mysterious M. This match was very hacksy on both sides. The hacks was So I kind of want to talk about this like kind of on a side tangent. Generally, when hacks happens earlier in the match, it's more it matters more because like basically you're put in a worse position, so like the opponent's already gaining advantages while after that like one important like hacks, and because of that you're getting put in an increasingly bad position. So hacks afterwards to like kind of make up for it generally doesn't matter that much unless it's like a few turns apart. In this case, Mysterious M missed a Precipice Blades against GXC's Pidon, and the Pidon KO'd it back, which is basically the Pidon was expected to deal about 70%, and actually the P Blades back wasn't even guaranteed to kill, but missing the P Blades was huge because it meant that it gave GXC a lot of breathing room around mons like Magirna and Marshadow, those two specifically, because Pidon would serve as a soft check to them. Um, so if he could actually like kind of rally back, Mysterious M did kind of rally back in the end and almost won because GXC kind of choked at the end. He had a very close to guaranteed win, and he kind of threw it away for basically rolls. The close combat, so there's like at the end sequence, there's like a close combat judgment kind of sequence, which resulted in um, Mysterious M losing on rolls. Basically, he needed like I don't remember the exact number, but it was like a 50% roll and then like a and then another roll or whatever. And basically, if he got the rolls, then he would have won. If he didn't, then he didn't, and he didn't get the rolls. So Mysterious M dropped that game. It was very hacksy on both sides, though. Like I'm not trying to say that GXC would have lost would have lost otherwise because to even get back to that point at the rolls, Mysterious M did have to get a freeze um, onto Arceus, or sorry, from Arceus onto Eviltal, and then there's like some other stuff that went on. There was like it was just a really messy game, and I would have liked it to have see it. I would have liked to see it be cleaner, and it's like a sad way to exit because there's a lot of different things that went on in that game that were like really unfortunate, but it happens, so you can't complain too much. uh Hacks is part of the game, so it's unfortunate. um and GXC does take the win, which is pretty big for him. I believe this puts him at 2-2 or 3-2, um or 2-3 maybe, I'm not too sure. But it's a big win for him. I think it's like a good confidence booster to be able to take a big win off of Mysterious M. But unfortunate for us, that also means that we were eliminated in that match since it happened chronologically last. In OU, Tote versus Dennis. Dennis solidly took this one. Much needed win. He brought a very good Mon in the matchup, which was Hoopa Unbound, and completely destroyed Tote, who brought kind of like a bulkier team. And because of that, Dennis just clicked his way to a victory. He could have played it a little cleaner in the end game. He risked a few like unnecessary like scald switch-ins or scald takes or whatever, but it didn't end up mattering. So that's fine. So Dennis took that game. I beat Snowfall. So basically, the crucial turn that I got kind of lucky on was there was a speed tie between Infernape and Terrakion. I clicked my Z move. I actually don't know what Snowfall clicked, but assuming that he clicked, Z move back or Focus Blast or whatever, then it could have been a different game potentially. I was willingly taking that speed tie because I knew that, or because in my mind I felt like I could still win without the Terrakion, but he needed the Infernape to win a lot. So I willingly took that tie and I got the tie. That said, it is unfortunate. I don't know how the game would have played out, but speed ties are like 50-50, so it is what it is. And then I won from there pretty solidly after that point. Ars9 versus Mihawk. Ars9 solidly took this win. Like Mihawk played pretty sloppy. Um, don't really have that much else to say about this match. It is unfortunate that we had to sub out because I think Tom Bugan has shown signs that he can be a top player, to me at least. And even if he doesn't, like, it's possible that he doesn't play at that level, but just having the potential to play at that level is like a huge deal. So I don't think Mihawk is at that level yet, and I don't expect him to be. Like, he has said that RU is his worst tier. So, it is unfortunate that we had to sub in here, but um, Arsenal has played a very good season, so that's good on him. Sanjay versus Plimsoll Punk. Sanjay took this solidly, 5-0 player. I think Sanjay has been one of the best players for us, and through 2 seasons, actually, he's been fantastic through both and been very clutch. Uh, Unfortunately, our season had to end here, so we can't really see how well he would have done like after this, but um, yeah, he took another win here. It was, pretty good. PU Epic Boost versus Ronman. This was like a kind of weird match at PU this week because, um, and this could have affected the Reggie versus Ziri match as well. I don't want to like discredit Reggie or anything because it's a very impressive to take a win over Ziri. But this week's PU meta was very strange because we were playing with 2 quick band mons, Chinchino and Mega Abomasnow, because of the way that it worked, as in like the tiers lock at the beginning of the round, and it was before the quick bands went through, so we got those. And then there was also a lack of Mesprit, which was a prevalent mon, like kind of throughout a lot of PU's lifetime up until now, and it got moved to NU, and then Ferroseed came to PU as well. So it was like a lot of strange stuff kind of floating around in the tier, and because of that, the matches were a bit strange. Ramnan did not play this very well at all. Um, he played very sloppy, had like a decent matchup, and kind of threw it away. Basically had Chinchino that would have pressured very heavily and led incorrectly and kind of played it very sloppy. So unfortunately, we lost there. Sifi Khan lost to Raj Shoot, and this was like a good performance from Raj. And it was just kind of showing kind of the flaws of our team. I guess we didn't have a lot of like I kind of talked about at the beginning of the season about stars showing up, and some of our good players like definitely showed up every week, and then it's also important for some of the newer talent to also improve and like kind of get better as the season goes on. And the players on our team didn't really get to that level in the end. I think Tom Bugan might have been able to get there, but I feel like Rodman and Sifikon didn't really show that many signs of improvement throughout the season, unfortunately. At least not as much as a lot of the other teams, who a lot of their players were able to pick up surprise wins or able to kind of improve throughout the season, but that wasn't the case here. And then the last match for doubles was Boyne versus Cheese, and this was very unfortunate. As I said before, we got hacked pretty hard in this one. A Swampert that was -1, and we had Reflect Up, crit, and Earthquake against Metagross. It was actually the only way we could lose, basically. Okay, so first off, Swampert's Earthquake doesn't even kill Metagross from full normally. You need a crit like to just kill from full because it only does like 60 or 70 or whatever. So it doesn't even kill from full. And then with the Intimidate and the screens up, it only did 33 or something, about 35 or so to the Metagross. And if the Metagross lived, then the game was closed out. Like, it was already over. But, Cheese got really unlucky, got crit, and then lost the game. Like, we were in solid position to win before then, but then afterwards we lost because of it. Technically, we could have still won because we were in such a good position before. But Cheese lost like one or two 50-50s at the very end of the game and lost the game. Like he was a little tilted, and he could have played a little better, but that crit was really unfortunate, and it definitely should have sealed out that game for us, and would have brought this to tiebreaker. But um, I don't kind of want to dwell too much on like our match because there is still highlight or like the predictions to go through for the rest of semifinals. So let's go through with the Blastoise versus Swamperts and the Stuffles versus Heatrans. So the Blastoise versus Swamperts starts with X Skelly versus Pidgeot Mega. Um, I haven't seen much from both of these players. I think they both haven't played to their potential or whatever, but I haven't seen like very good stuff from either. So I'll put this as a 50-50. It'll be on both teams to kind of provide the support and get these players like in a position to win to be able to win this game because we don't know how good they will be. Or I mean, I don't really think that they have like the individual prowess necessary to just like take the game. So if neither player gets the support necessary and they both show up with like mediocre teams or whatever, I don't really know that they like it'll be up to play. I still don't really see either player as being much better than the other, so I don't see it. Starreal versus Halamon. I actually don't know who Starreal is. Um, I guess it's their sub. I'm not sure. I guess I'll favor Halamon here. I don't think he's had the best tournament so far, but I think like just watching him play, like he passes the eye test for me, meaning he like plays pretty well even if his record isn't that good. So I'll give it to Halamon. I don't really know who Starreal is, so I favor Halamon here. And then Kaither versus Oras Mega. I think Oras Mega has been playing much better throughout this tournament. Kaither's definitely not a bad player, and can definitely show up and beat Oras Mega. But I'll favor Oras Mega here slightly, 70-30 here. Well, more than slightly, I guess. I feel like he's played very solid throughout this tournament. He's been quietly putting up a lot of big results for the Blastoises. The Wash Ball versus Keeping It Icy. I think the Wash Ball is very solid, and I'll favor him here. I believe he's probably the best RU player that's playing RU in this tournament. So the Wash Ball favored here, 70-30. Bad player versus Prince of All Tacos. Both players coming in here with very good records. I believe 4-0 for bad player, and I believe also 4-0 for Prince of All Tacos, or 3-1 or something like that. I think it's 4-0. This will be interesting. I think bad player has been playing against like playing very well. Prince of All Tacos has also been playing well. But I've felt like bad player has played standard well, and Prince of All Tacos has kind of been playing his own style very well. It's very different. He relies kind of on different team selection choices and whatnot. But I feel like bad players 4 has been more impressive to me, but only a little bit. 55-45 for me to bad player. Um, it's not very much like an indictment on Prince of All Tacos or anything. I'm just saying that I think that the way that bad player got his 4 was more impressive to me, and it'll be different. It'll be interesting to see how they match up against each other because 4 is definitely something that is hard to accomplish. Reggie versus Omnis Draco. Reggie did prove a lot by beating Ziri last week, but I think that it's still going to be difficult for him to take down Omnis Draco. I'm going to be favoring him Omnis Draco 60-40. Normally it would be more than this, but because Reggie did beat Ziri last week, it does pose the question that maybe he could do it again against Omnis Draco. I definitely think Omnis Draco is not as good as Ziri, but it will be interesting to see how well Reggie matches up against him. 60-40 Omnis Draco. And then Jack in My Box versus I'm Just Gray. Jack in My Box has been showing up to be like a pretty good player in LC. I've been pretty impressed with how he's been playing, and I'll favor him over I'm Just Gray 60-40. And then Havens versus TTTX. Havens hasn't had a very good season. However, he's basically finished exactly where I expected coming into the season in doubles because the doubles competition this week has been pretty stiff. Uh, or this BLT has been pretty stiff. So I do think that he was going to be struggling because of the other players in the pool. And I'll favor TTTX over Havens 60-40 as well here. I think TTTX has shown up to be very good. And because of that, I will favor him over Havens. And with that, I will be saying that this match will be 4-3 in favor, or no, 5-2 in favor of the Swamperts, with UU and LC going to the Blastoises, and then the Ubers match being an X Factor, but or like being a kind of a toss up, but definitely like if the Blastoises want to win, NU like UU and LC have to win, but I think NU and doubles are the ones, MPU are the ones that can potentially turn it around. And then the next match is the Stuffles versus the Heatrans. Starting off with 100% GXC versus Terracotta. Terracotta, in my opinion, isn't as good as Mysterious M, but he is still very good, and GXC is now here in Ubers, in my opinion, his best tier. The last match was pretty hacksy, but this one I think I still have to favor Terracotta here. I think he's been more proven in bigger tournaments, in Ubers and stuff. GXC is definitely a good player, and he's been showing me that he can compete. But the end game of the end game versus Mysterious M really gave me a lot of question marks. I think that if without like kind of being in such an advantageous position, making those bad plays would have definitely lost him the game, and he almost lost him the game actually. But Terra, I think, can't capitalize on those, and unless GXC gets kind of like lucky again or whatever, um, I don't know if he will be able to beat Terra just on an even footing, I guess. Um, and so I'll favor Terracotta here, 60-40. Richard Pepper versus Tote. I think Richard Pepper has had a great season so far. Tote and has not had a good season so far. I think this is an easy choice for me. Richard Pepper should be favored here. And I'll say 65-35. I'm not going more because I don't have that much faith in Richard Pepper, even though he has won very solidly in a lot of different tiers. I think that his wins have been also based on a lot like cheese and team selection. So um, I'd still favor him though, 65-35. Snowfall versus Ham. Ham being one of the best UU players, just one of the best overall players. I think Ham has to be favored here, and I'll favor him here, 65-35 over Snowfall, who has had a pretty good season, but I think Ham is just a better player. Arsenine versus DJ Illuminati, Spitfire Arcanine. And finally, they have put Spitfire Arcanine in what I believe to be his best tier in RU. I think this will be tough because Arsenine has had such a great season so far. And I don't know if DJ Illuminati can match that, even in his best tier. I think momentum does play a huge role in like how you feel and how you play the game. So I'm going to favor Arsenine here, 60-40, but I think it's going to be close. And this one is definitely one of the ones that I could see both players taking. Plimsoll Punks versus Lugia Numer. I think Plimsoll Punks should be a better player in NU, and I'll favor him here, 60-40 as well. Epic Boost versus V. I think V has shown more to me. Outside of kind of like a shaky week one, I think he's played very solid in a lot of the other tiers, or a lot of the other weeks rather. And Epic Boost has not shown that to me, so I think V has shown better. Has shown to me that he's a better player. So I'll favor him here, 60-40. Frisso versus Rush Shoot. Probably one of the most one-sided matches of this kind of bracket, or sorry, this week of the semifinals. I think Frisso is a much better player than Raj.Shoot, and I'll favor him 80-20 here. And Shadow Monster versus Boyne. I think Shadow Monster has shown to be a better player. Boyne picked up a win last week against Cheese while getting lucky, but I thought his team selection was completely awful. It was like kind of what I talked about before with the idea of doubles giving you such a big advantage. Players who play doubles, and if you have like the kind of the support and the meta knowledge, then it's such a big difference. And kind of like the current meta that's been developing, like there are ways around it. Like you can try to play different things that kind of beat the meta, quote unquote. But like the current meta that's developing is kind of there's basically two or three dominant styles. There's like the Trick Room, but Trick Room has kind of been falling out of favor because there's actually the current best style, in my opinion, like the Hazard Balance, completely destroys Trick Room without like really needing a lot of extra text against it. And then there's like the Tailwind Offense, which has also been falling out of favor because Hazard Balance is so powerful. And hazard balance, which is basically the idea of having one hazard mon and then some other forms of hazard control potentially, like maybe a second hazard mon or defog or whatever, plus like two bulky boosters normally, and then some defensive mons to kind of fill out the roster. They generally will drop full offensive mon, like rarely have full offensive mons. They rely a lot on intimidate cycling or different defense boosting and whatnot. And like this style of balance, uh, balance hazard or hazard balance rather has been kind of taking over doubles, and it dominates a lot of the other styles in the game right now. So it's very difficult to be able to beat if you're not prepared for it or understand it like on a fundamental level. I think Shadow Monster has been bringing some pretty solid teams as well, and he's shown to me that he's a better player than Boynes, so I'll favor him. And he also gets the team support from Friso, who I think Friso will understand kind of what the meta is in doubles right now. Um, so with that said, I'm going to be favoring the Heatrans very significantly through this one. I think Terracotta, Richard Pepper, Ham, V, Friso, and Shadow Monster are going to win, which is me favoring 6 out of the 8 matches. Some of them are hard favors, some of them are kind of like slight favors, and I think even in the ones that they're not favored in, that they can still pick up wins. So I could even see a week where they can get an 8-0 here or a 7-1. But that said, I don't think it's that likely. I think some of the matches are going to swing to the Stuffles. But I think the Heatrans have shown this to be like a very good team, just top to bottom through the season. They have like the very good top end to kind of close out, tiebreakers, but also just be very good throughout the regular season and playoffs. Meaning like Fristo, Ham, whatnot, and they also have just good younger players, or like not younger, but like younger to the scene rather, that have been developing like Shadow Monster and B, who have shown to be like improving throughout the season. So at the beginning of the season, I did rank them, I believe, at the as the best team or as the top 2 teams or whatever. But they definitely have been showing to be a fantastic team, and they, in my opinion, are the strongest team right now by like a large margin. And I'd be very surprised if they didn't win this season, because I think that they do have the best team, and it will be interesting to see uh, how like everything pans out. Because obviously, in my opinion, I don't think the best team always wins. There's always things in Mons that happen, and you can't always say that the best team wins because they're like if they're there can be like a bunch of hacks that goes in one team's way or whatever. But I do believe that they are the best team, and I do believe that they're going to win BLT this year, barring some like large circumstances or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I think this was a little bit of a longer video, but I do hope you enjoyed. I just want to talk about BLT. It's been a while. If you did, then leave a like, subscribe, or whatever. Um, and tell me what you thought about BLT this year. With us out, it does mean that I'm just going to be doing these videos as my involvement for BLT. Um, and it's like a little bit different, but tell me what you guys think of BLT this year, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time for finals actually. So I probably won't be doing a recap video for finals, that I mean after like finals conclude, so this will probably be my second to last video regarding BLT. I might do like a kind of wrap up video doing kind of talking about the finals as well, but we'll see. And with that said, that's it for this video. So I'll see you guys next time for another video on BLT.